If you're coming across this video and you're looking for sustainable weight loss and fitness and a sustainable weight loss, fitness and health channel to improve your life, then you're one of the luckiest people alive. So this channel is a very special channel because it's different to the 99.9% of essentially all the other channels out there, whether it's on YouTube or other social media. And that's because when I've had a look and before I started making this videos for this channel and helping people around the world to sustainably lose weight and improve their health, most of what I saw was essentially the reason why it's all just rubbish is because it comes down to because most influencers, health or fitness influencers, are just essentially everyday people. And that goes for everyone, even people who are doctors and healthcare professionals are just, at the end of the day, everyday people. Because most people were never brought up or never realized that life has to have principles. Okay? Principles, ethics, morals, understanding of a basic way of living. And most people don't have this. And therefore, when they step into then the influencer role, where essentially, yes, we live in a world where money talks, but you can still make money and not destroy people's health. So before I give out information, I tested everything that I talk about. So the food and lifestyle, so the lifestyle that I coach, I tested on myself. So I worked out, well, do these foods actually help me to stay lean? Do these foods give me the energy that I'm looking for in order to power my everyday performance, whether that's in cycling or off the bike? I look at, well, what actually is the health statistics at the moment in terms of why are people becoming unhealthy, and what's the cause? So most channels, you will find, they will just destroy your health, and that's because essentially they don't have any basic understanding, any principles, any morals. They don't have any baseline of, well, why am I doing what I'm doing? Why am I saying what I'm saying? Why am I giving the advice that I'm giving? So I coach a vegan, high sugar, low fat, low protein lifestyle. So to explain why this channel, the information that I give, as I always say to people who maybe they're religious, I am an angel put down on this planet to help people, put here by God or Allah or whoever it is you want to believe in. And the reason for this is because everyone around me, they're just doing and saying the same things, and they don't have any idea really why they're saying it. So the people I've interacted in the fitness world, other coaches, and they're clueless. So the other people that, the cyclists or the coaches or other fitness people, they have no idea why they actually, when I ask them, or why I say, well, why are they overweight? So quite often I see people who are supposedly into fitness or whatever, and they're overweight themselves, and they're not therefore inspiring other people to sustainably lose weight. So I'm vegan, and therefore the lifestyle I promote is vegan. And firstly, I'm vegan for the animals, so also hopefully I can inspire people to stop abusing animals. And yes, I've heard every single excuse, I think, now in the book over the last 9 years that I've been vegan. I think I've heard everything, and I've come to the conclusion that most people are bad people. So most people are bad people, unfortunately. And no matter what I say, or if you're watching this and you eat meat, eating meat is bad because you're paying for killing, which is bad. And that's why I say no one is ever really brought up with any principles or morals. It's just, you shouldn't really kill or hurt other people. But that happens all the time. So that message isn't really going in, is it, to most people? Most people are cheering some group of people being killed by another group of people. So that we shouldn't kill and maim and torture and rape and kill other human beings isn't really going in. That message isn't really sinking into most people. And therefore, being able to actually see another human in the face and kill them and just be able to think that's great. Therefore, there's not much hope for not killing other animals that don't speak your language. So that's that. And also, being vegan is the most healthy way to live because you're removing all of the toxins and carcinogens that you get from eating animal products. It's always low fat because the foremost chronic disease in the West is heart disease, and this is caused by excess fat. So essentially, heart disease is, so if you're talking about atherosclerosis and heart disease, that's basically a blood clot, which is caused by fat. So it makes the blood sticky and congeal and stick together, and you get more blood clots. And it's always low protein because you want to protect your kidneys. So you want to protect your kidney function. And if you protect your heart and your kidneys, so these are very important. Probably the kidneys is very much misunderstood in how important the kidney is. So if you protect the kidney, you protect your heart, and you always think of these first before deciding on what you're going to do, then you're making a good step towards becoming more healthy and saving yourself from dying from heart disease and cancer, high blood pressure, diabetes. So there's another one. Low fat. Low fat, if you keep your fat intake low and you lose weight and you get lean, if you got pre-diabetes or type 2 diabetes, you get rid of that. And that's why I then come on to high sugar. So the reason why I recommend high sugar is because the human body runs on sugar. So that's every cell in the human body runs on sugar. And what I mean by that is glucose derived ATP. So ATP is what the body uses in order to move. So the initial step, the primary energy system of the human body, so is anaerobic, and that it means it uses glucose, and it uses glucose to get the mitochondria kick-started. And you've also, in the mitochondria, the place where most ATP is produced is in the electron transport chain in the double membrane of the mitochondria. And that's where you get most of your ATP. And yes, fat and protein can be used, but carbohydrate is the primary energy system. And all of this ATP, and by the way, fat and protein, fat, if you keep your fat intake low, if you keep your protein intake low, that means that you'll use fats more as well. You'll burn fat more. So there's that. And so that's through gluconeogenesis. So that's why it's good to keep protein low. And also, if you keep sugar low, you keep your sugar intake low, because sugar is the primary energy system, and if you cut carbohydrate intake and sugars, the body will then switch to using fat and protein, and therefore it'll start pulling protein from your muscles. So actually reducing your carbohydrate intake is actually going to potentially lead you to lose muscle mass. So no, you're not going to get sarcopenia from low protein intake. You'll most likely, and sarcopenia actually doesn't exist, and it isn't because of low protein. The only way you're going to lose muscle mass is if you reduce your carbohydrate intake, because then you'll start to use protein and fat from other sources like the muscles. So this is why this channel is special, because it's not just, the first 19 years of my life, yes, I was sort of breaking through the conditioning that I'd had and the brainwashing I'd had from essentially the way the world is, which is telling you to eat lots of fat and protein and calorie restriction and just exercise to get rid of fat. yeah, as I say, most people are fat, most people are sick, and they're doing all of the, I need to eat fat, I need to eat protein, I just need to exercise, I need to cut my calories. And obesity rates are going up, fat intake is going up, but yet more and more people are getting sick, more and more people are getting sick. So fat's going up, fat intake's going up, people are getting sick and fat. But also carbohydrate intake is going down. So global carbohydrate and sugar intake is going down. So for example, in China, since 1980, they've been dramatically reducing their rice intake, so carbohydrate intake, anything more of the Western style lifestyle. And they're getting millions of more people every year becoming pre-diabetic, but they're reducing their carbohydrate intake. So it should become obvious. If you watch my videos, you'll pick up how the world works, and then you'll also be able to inspire other people if you start living the lifestyle that I promote. So the foods I recommend is high sugar, low fat, low protein. It's a jet over there. And also I pair this with cycling. So no, I don't usually recommend what most people, they go for, oh, well, I do Pilates, or I do yoga, or I go to the gym, and I go to the gym and I go like this a few times and I'm going to lose weight. So I also give the reasoning behind why I say why you should do certain things. So cycling is amazing and it's the best way to move your body sustainably to lose weight. So sustainably as in you can do it basically every day and enjoy doing it every day. And the way you actually lose fat is by breathing it out. Okay, so it doesn't just magically disappear. If you go like this, okay, the fat doesn't just go off. It doesn't just magically, you know, people are just living in this fairy tale world, okay, and it's so frustrating. So you lose fat through CO2, mainly by breathing it out. So the body is just a machine. So you imagine the human body is like a car. So when you put your fuel in, you're putting your diesel in or you're putting your petroleum in, the petrol doesn't just magically disappear from your fuel tank. So in the combustion engine, for example, all the fuel that you've put in, it gets burnt and then it gets released as gas. Okay, so it gets released, if it's complete combustion, it should be CO2, heat and water. Okay, so that's what the car engine should produce out of its exhaust. If it's clean burning, it should be mainly CO2 and then water. That's why quite often when, like, if a car accelerates past you when it overtakes you on the road, you can see water dribbling out of the exhaust. And also heat. So a car becomes very hot, doesn't it? The engine becomes very hot. So it's the same as human beings. When we take in sugar, we essentially burn it in the mitochondria. And as a result, we produce heat. So that's why you get hot when you exercise. When you're riding a bike, you get hot. And you produce water, and then you sweat. So you're sweating out water. And then you also produce CO2, which you breathe out. So when you're riding up a hill and you're riding hard up a hill, you're getting hot, you're sweating, and you're breathing heavily. So this is how you lose fat, and this is how you lose fat, enjoying losing fat. So that's where it literally goes. So if you get a bike and you ride up a hill, and you ride up hills, and you don't have to do it all the time, I recommend just riding not easy and not hard, just at a pace that you could, essentially, if you're listening to music or you've got a song stuck in your head, you should be able to sing most of the words out loud between breath. But then when you're riding harder, you shouldn't really be able to talk. You should just be concentrating on breathing out and breathing in and breathing out and breathing in. And the harder you're riding, the more you're breathing out and in and out and in and out. So it sounds like this. So when you're just riding easy, it's like this. So you probably can't really hear that, but that's just riding easy. And then when you're riding hard, you're going and that is literally when you're breathing out like that. And you shouldn't be riding like that all the time, because that's just not very nice. So when you're breathing like that, you're producing lots more CO2, or essentially a little bit more. So you're breathing out more CO2 and you're breathing more. So literally, as you're riding uphill, your engine, okay, if you imagine you're a car, you put your foot down when you're driving up a hill, or you put your foot down in your car. So I recommend getting rid of your car, because if you have the car is the center of your life, you're never going to lose weight. So think about it. If you are burning oil, and so essentially burning oil in your car, how are you going to burn fat off your body? So if you're driving your car hard uphill, which you shouldn't be after this, you can get rid of your car. If you're driving your car hard uphill, your engine is going to get hot. You might get an engine warning light. And if you're driving hard for a long time, the amount of petrol you're using, the amount of fuel you're using, is going to go down quicker. And that's because you're producing more of the products that are released from the combustion or the use of that fuel. So you're producing more heat, you're producing more water, and you're producing more CO2. And then just like when you're cycling, you get hotter, you get really hot, you have to unzip your layers because you're getting hot and uncomfortable, and you're getting really sweaty, and you're breathing a lot. So I hope you enjoy the video, and like and subscribe. And yeah, I use analogies to try and explain what I'm talking about. I have principles and morals. I don't just repeat the same rubbish. The trends are coming along. I base what I talk about on science that's been done, and again, quite often before the modern pharmaceutical industry or the modern food industry science. So if you ever see something like a headline saying olive oil is great for you, this is fake science by the food industry. Yeah, it's real scientists who are employed, but it's just like everyone, they went to university to get a degree in order to then just do fake science. But it's still inverted commas science, because it's people who went to university. Because fat, okay, excess fat is what is causing millions of people to die from heart disease. So if you ever see something like that, olive oil is good for you, go, well, what did my father die of? Or what did my brother die of? Or what did my friend die of? Or who are the people that I know dying of heart disease? And they maybe have, if they're a man, they have a big belly, they have the dad body. And yeah, if you're a woman, you're overweight, you got the weight on your hips and on your tummy. Just think, they died from eating a high-fat diet, because that's what heart disease is caused by, excess fat. So at least 500 grams of carbohydrate a day to feel satiated. And if you want to eat as much as a kilo to feel satiated, then you can do that. I recommend keeping your fat intake no more than 20 grams a day. I found that once I go above 20 grams a day, I start to gain weight. Whereas even if I don't do exercise, usually keeping it below 20. So you can eat as much of the food as I recommend to feel full. So even on a day where I don't do any exercise, I'm still eating to feel full. There's no counting of calories. There's no mental, so there's no mental, essentially, you can ease the mental strain of worrying about what you're going to eat and always thinking about calories and worrying about getting fat. Okay, the fat you eat is the fat you wear. So you can calm your mind, stop stressing, because stress will also lead you to gain weight. Okay, so stop stressing, relieve that tension of always worrying about what you're going to eat. So it's not sugar that's making you fat. The fat you eat is the fat you wear. The sugar and carbohydrate you eat is the glycogen in your muscles. And the water you're drinking as well helps with that, and helps with the fiber that you eat with the foods that I recommend as well. So that also helps you to relieve the discomfort as well. So high fiber diet, part of the lifestyle I recommend is fiber as well. That can relieve your constipation and reducing your physical and mental stress. And yeah, I'm not vegan because of, people talk about the spirituality of veganism, and I think that's a load of rubbish. I think we're just here and there's no meaning to life. And yeah, people fill that void with the fear of death by just killing other things, and therefore people can forget or kind of put at ease that fear of death by killing other things. So I think that's why consciousness was a big mistake. Whether you believe again in a creator, or I think that was the biggest mistake that's ever happened in the history of the universe, was to give some species the gift, inverted commas, of consciousness. So what we do with that consciousness is we realize that we're going to die. That's the only thing we basically subconsciously can think about. And therefore, to put us at ease, we then go around the planet thinking we're the top dog and controlling the death of everything else. So, yeah, I know that I'm going to die one day, but I want to leave behind a positive impact and not just carry on with the same history of violence, which is what humanity is. So the history of violence to each other, to animals, and to ourselves. So at the moment we are violently, I would call it violently, aggressively destroying ourselves through the lifestyle that we're now living, through the high fat, high protein, low sugar, animal products, the car at the center of our lives, the oil industry at the center of our lives, the meat industry, the medical industry, the pharmaceutical industry, petrochemical industry, all at the center of our lives. And just listening to what we hear through the TV and social media and just being conditioned into behaving badly. So we're killing ourselves and we're destroying the planet. So that's the analogy. High fat, high protein is killing the planet, killing animals, we're killing each other, and it's killing ourselves. So I'm here to help. Check out other videos on the channel where you'll be able to see I'm always lean. And yes, this is a positive channel. So this channel is about positivity, because once you open your eyes to this way of essentially how the world works, you can then change your lifestyle and have a positive impact on the world, on your own life, your own lifestyle, and therefore potentially inspiring other people to stop being fat and sick, destroying their own health. And yes, if most people are fat and sick, other people who then just see that as, well, they infer that as, well, that's fine. And it's not. And yes, you can get fat and sick eating vegan high fat, high protein food. So no, I don't recommend that either. But yeah, if you do want to still eat high fat, high protein, then do it vegan. If you still want to be fat and sick and live that lifestyle, you can. Okay, you can eat high fat pizza and high fat ice cream and high fat donuts and all of these high fat, high protein foods and burgers, high fat, high protein burgers, high fat, high protein sausages. You can do that all vegan, but the healthcare system and the pharmaceutical industry will be very, very happy to accept your business whenever you become that sick, and they will take you in like a stray child. They'll pump you full of drugs and eventually that'll probably kill you. But at least you were vegan, okay? So whatever you do in life, as long as it's vegan, doesn't necessarily destroy the planet, no one else is going to save your health, okay? The only person that's going to save you is you. All the healthcare industry is going to do is take you in, give you drugs, do surgery on you. But if you never fix the root cause of your illness and you're only treating the symptoms, so like if you have heart disease and you have maybe a bypass or you have open heart surgery, you are still going to die within a few years of that surgery if you don't change your high fat diet. So if you're still pumping your arteries and your body full of fat, your overall mortality rate will not change. So you're not going to change the day that you die. All that you're going to do is make heart surgeons lots of money. And that's why you're never going to see the mainstream healthcare professionals tell you how to get healthy, i.e. the food. They're never going to show you how to fix the food, because if that happened, what would happen to all the heart surgeons? They would become unemployed. And the cancer specialists would become unemployed. So that's the horror of reality. But you don't have to take part in that. You can live like the 1% of people who watch this and go, yeah, I want to get inspired by this vegan, high sugar, low fat, low protein, fit and healthy bloke, this banana boy. Okay, so I had 8 bananas already this morning. So that's good for potassium, for your sodium potassium pumps. Okay, so I'm riding over there into those hills, those mountains, and I'm gonna do probably about 5 or 6 hours today. The weather should be okay, and yeah, I recommend cycling. Cycling gives you freedom. Cycling gives you the freedom that the car doesn't. That's why people who drive cars are always so angry. I'm angry and I drive a car. Excuse me. That's why I find most people are angry, because they're driving a car and then they blame other people. Okay, so if you're driving from a home that you hate being in with your maybe your family you hate, and then driving to a workplace, 9 to 5 workplace that you hate, to pay for things that you don't need, to then drive back to the place, if you're doing this, driving back and forwards from one place you hate to another, when you see someone on a bicycle who maybe looks more free than you do, I can understand, yeah, and I can understand why seeing someone on a bicycle who looks free, you might hate that. So that's what I always get, is people who are in the car, they're always so angry all the time and just angry. So I hope you enjoy the video. Join the weight loss lifestyle. That's what I'm here for, is to help, and I have morals and principles. So I'm not just going to sell you supplements or do you wrong, because I always think that you should behave unto others how you would want them to behave to you. So I don't want someone who's going to destroy my life. Okay, I don't want to destroy my own life, and therefore I don't want to destroy yours. So there you go, giving you the tools to work out who is lying to you or not. So if they're telling you to eat fat and protein, they're lying. They're, I would say, sociopathic at the best. And if they don't realize what they're talking about, then yeah, it's just part of the world, isn't it? How the world works. Anyway, thank you for your time. Hope you enjoy the view. Getting cold now, so I have to get going. So I have to start using more sugar and heat up and burn fat. Yeah, feels good, doesn't it? Feels good to know there's an alternative. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for your time.